Welcome to The Good Pod. We're talking Elsbeth Season 3, Episode 2, Doll Day Afternoon. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, the one, the only, the singular, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I'm good, Jason. You good?
I'm good.
Good.
Here we are.
We're here.
Second episode, Season 3.
We were just here, and then we're back.
We're back already. I will say this at the top. I enjoyed this episode so much more than the premiere. I know we had our criticisms of the premiere. We had our things that we're talking about, but I thought this was this is a really good episode, mostly because it deviated from the formula, right? It was a different type of episode flow than we're used to. I think that would really contributed to my enjoyment of it. And I just thought, I don't know, I just thought it was punchier. I thought it was funner than our usual episodes.
Yeah, I when I saw where this was going, I was like, oh, Jason's gonna love this because it is not the original like play, which is always nice to see. And also, I think the show is doing a good job of being creative within the limitations of what they again, I think you might be onto something there, Jason, with the whole like the show is telling us something because the budget was brought up again in this episode. So they might be trying to tell us like we're giving you the best show we can with what we got, and this episode was great.
Yeah, it's really good. Before we get into the episode proper, let's want to remind you of the listeners and viewers out there some free and easy ways you can support this podcast. You can do that by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to this podcast wherever it is you are listening and or watching. Doing all or any of those things helps us get into the eyes and ears of more listeners/watchers, and we greatly appreciate when you do those things. If you want to just chop it up with us about any and everything about the show, ask us questions, do whatever, you can hit us up at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. We are there to answer any and every question that you have. We love to interact with our listeners. And we also have a way you can support us monetarily if you so choose. It's not a requirement to listen to the show. It's just something extra you can do if you feel in the giving spirit. You know what I mean? And you can do that by going to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod. We actually had a couple people that left contributions in the last week since we were back on Elsbeth, and I want to shout those people out real quick. Jennifer O, she writes, "So glad Elsbeth and your coverage is back." I'm glad we're back to you, Jennifer. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoy our podcast of this episode. We also got a contribution from Carolina, and she writes, "I liked the Elsbeth episode, but you guys were right. It seemed a little slow, like it wasn't kooky enough. LOL. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'll still keep watching and listening." Carolina, I hope this episode was more to your liking, more to your speed. I thought this is pretty kooky, especially when Elsbeth goes into the toy store. It was like she was all over the place. So
she was in her element for sure.
Yes. I hope this is more to your speed, Carolina. Carolina and Jennifer, thank you so much for contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. It means a lot to us because that is like the ultimate way to show your pleasure with the podcast, I think. So thank you guys so much for that. With that all out of the way, Marissa, let's get into the episode.
Let's do it. I'm going to just read a little summary of the episode, and then we can talk about like our favorite parts and how we felt about it. Mm-hmm. So in this episode, as you mentioned, titled Doll Day Afternoon, there's a shady deal going down in an alley that spins violently out of control, leaving the seller fatally injured. Elsbeth's investigation leads to a high-end toy emporium where she catches sight of Nolan Hurst, who is played by Jason.
David Cross.
Who
I think most people would know from Arrested Development. I think that's probably where I think, everyone knows David Cross from. But David Cross has been all over the comedy scene. He's very recognizable. So I think most people know David Cross.
Yes. So he is the one who is buying, but Nolan Hurst is there in the emporium doing a little bit of an exchange. Elsbeth sees him, is like, hey, that's the guy. And then her Officer Somerville. Yes. Yeah. Officer Somerville calls it in, and this turns quickly from hey, we caught the guy in like 2 seconds to a hostage situation in a toy store. Captain Wagner arrives on the scene. He's like taken a deep breath. He's in some sort of mood. But he's also introduced, we are introduced to Captain Tully, which we learn Wagner and Tully have some history there. They may not be the best of friends, but Tully also has impatience, and he has a drive to kind of like get the man by like shooting the person in these situations as opposed to kind of de-escalating it. And inside, Nolan has taken away all of the cameras, so the police really don't have any way in. And Elsbeth is brought up as in a prisoner exchange to go inside. She's got her tote bag. She's ready to, go in there. She goes in and tells everyone what the plan is. The cops try to come in through the roof, go through vents, but that did not work out well because there's a big piano from the movie Big on the floor, and the cops step on the floor. And that leads Nolan to realize something is up. So at this point, Nolan is like, okay, let's bind everybody together. And Elsbeth, you're not going to talk. Meanwhile, outside, Teddy arrives, and Wagner's like, hey, your mom? She's good at talking herself out of these things. So there has to be a little bit of maneuvering by Elsbeth, including an easy bake oven. But in the end, Elsbeth learns that Nolan has a daughter named Bella, and she uses that personal connection to de-escalate and we get Bella on the phone and talk to her father. Teddy is also in his investigative journalism era, and so he brings in some information that Captain Tully once had the wrong man shot at one of his operations before, so this is not like the best situation for him. And in a scene where we had a stuffed animal jury with a nanny cam that Elsbeth had set up, Elsbeth does go back to the lawyering. We do see a little bit of this from her. And she tells basically Nolan, this is how I would do your case, in a way to get Nolan to give more information to the police. It was very, very, very smart. And we basically find out that he's doing this for the love of his family, for his daughter. His daughter asked for this doll when she was 11, even though now she's 14. In the end, they have to get, Nolan outside. And instead of sending him out there by himself, Elsbeth's like, okay, we're all going to put on these shirts and these hats, and we're going to go as like a little turtle, and we're going to go outside because she knows that Captain Tully wants to shoot someone. And in the end, Officer Somerville is the one who kind of saves the day, brings them all to the ground while the shot goes off, and it's the doll that gets shot in the end. So those are the main like plot points. Jason,
yeah,
where do you want to start?
Let's talk about the opening scene with the doll. The what did you think was going to be in that trunk when the trunk opened? Like, what did you think we were haggling over?
Well, me being a museum person, I was like, oh, this is some sort of artifact deal, like some sort of like like in Black Panther where they have like the artifact deals in the underground market. Like, that's what I thought this was. I did not expect it to be the Elsbeth universe version of an American Girl doll.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, oh, this is cool. I thought the murder, quote unquote, death, little anticlimactic. I thought they were tussling for the cash because this guy Patrick, or whatever his name was, the manager of the toy store, really just swindled Nolan out of this doll he wanted. And
the doll he wanted was only $400, and Nolan showed up with $6,000.
Which, if we flash forward a little bit to the toy store, it didn't seem like this doll was hard to obtain. It didn't seem like it was like some crazily like sought after collectible. I was like, you could have just gone to a toy store and paid the $400 instead of this back alley meeting. I don't know. I think it was kind of explained away by like, oh, maybe this is the last doll left, and Patrick, the guy that was killed, reserved it for someone else instead of this guy. But then we had the back alley deal. It was a little confusing. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I wonder if Nolan knew about the store, or if he just thought like the only way to do this is to like look on eBay with my connections or whatever to find out, because I don't know if he knew about the toy store until he saw the tissue paper that the doll was wrapped in. That is what like led Elsbeth to the store in the first place. So I there's a lot of like questions about that. I agree, it's not that clear, but he seems like a guy who would check the black market as opposed to checking Google for some reason.
Like, maybe he's fresh out of prison for 3 years.
For insider
maybe
trading. Yeah.
for insider trading. Maybe he's not too hipped on the Facebook Marketplace or how to, talk to your phone and Google like where to find this dog. I don't know. It was weird. Not the most inventive of ways that we've seen someone die. He just kind of like threw the guy on the ground and he accidentally cracked his head open on the concrete pillars. Like, oh well,
And I can't remember, help me out, Jason, if there was a case like this before, but this might be like the first one where it's not about a revenge or hatred or something like this is a true accidental death. Like this.
Yeah, this is very accidental. Yeah, I think going through the Elsbeth the Rolodex, like you said, most of our cases are dealing with people that were murdering out of some hatred or revenge or to cover something up. This was just kind of a very accidental death. I think that kind of makes sense because unlike a lot of our murderers that we've seen throughout this show, they really want us to feel bad for Nolan for most of this episode. They want us to like relate to this guy, have empathy for him. Most of our murderers are like, get this person into custody immediately. We hate this person. They're so terrible, despicable. Nolan is just, a guy down in his luck that feels like he's been like put in an impossible situation and does what he does. So yeah, I think that's probably why as well. That he gets screwed over. He tries to get his money back, and in that trying to do that, he accidentally murders a guy.
And he's just doing this for his daughter in the first place. Like this isn't like he's not doing this because at home he has a collection of American Girl dolls or whatever. Or if you Dropout fans are out there, American Girl doll shoes. Jason, do you watch Dropout?
I have just recently discovered Dropout.
Yay!
Through listen, I'm a Facebook Reels person. I've only just discovered clips and stuff, and I'm kind of like obsessed with the Dropout clips now. I freaking love them.
Yes.
If you haven't seen Dropout TV, go search them up on
TikTok, it's well worth the investment, and check it out on YouTube if you want a taste of like what they have before. But they have this funny. One
that's the Brendan guy.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Is that the Brendan guy that was like they were doing pitches for different products, and that's yeah, that's what he was doing.
And the whole goal was like you pitch the product, and then whichever video got the most views would be the one that was
they would make real.
No, that person, whoever pitched that, would become president of Dropout in name only for a year. So Brennan, who is also in D&D and all this, he's like a big face in Dropout, basically was like, I'm quitting Dropout and making American Girl doll shoes. So that did help Vic from Dropout become president in name only. So the little bit of
Dropout tangent.
Dropout. Are you listening? That is a sponsor I think we really align with. So hey,
let's go.
Let us know. But it's not like he has like this collection of American Girl doll shoes or anything like that.
They could have easily pivoted this and had David Cross be like some corrupt collectible toy broker or dealer or something and just murdered this guy for his doll. But I think the way they framed him is like to be a down on his luck recently released ex-con only trying to please his daughter. So I think David Cross is good at that type of like schlubby feel bad for me guy. He also could do the corrupt toy dealer, so it just kind of shows the range that David Cross has.
He could.
So yeah, I liked that. Yeah.
And much like the accidental murder, not premeditated, I guess, is that what I'm just trying to go through the like degrees of murder. It's not first degree. It would definitely be like second degree, maybe. But anywho, he also did not intend for this hostage situation to come up. He just heard Detective Somerville, who, Jason, let me know what you thought of this, because
he's just a cop. He's
just a cop, but he's a third generation cop. And I was like, am I supposed to know you? Are you like someone from like CSI or Law and Order's like nephew, kid, something like that? Like, I don't know what this connection is supposed to be, but he like mentioned it like 800 times. So I'm like, why do we know about this?
I think it's just to show that he's a very green. He feels like a sense of duty to be a cop because his family has been cops, so he has that type
Mhm.
of pressure on him. I don't think it's supposed to be meant for anything else to really get into. But uh yeah, what did you, because we had our thoughts last episode about are we going to get rotating cops, which I think will definitely be a thing. Rotating cops. Now we don't even get a detective this episode, which is
I
like
know.
interesting, which again makes us think like budget cuts. Like, is that, are we having less detectives
Yeah.
as well to save money? But I think you kind of got your wish, Marissa. Last episode you were talking about, you wanted Elsbeth and Wagner to kind of work together and show their bonds. I think that's what we got here in this episode, because they worked pretty closely together in different parts of this episode. But to meet Detective Somerville and
Nope.
have him,
Officer.
yeah, I did what you just did. Officer Somerville, to meet him and to see how green he is, see how brand new he is, but he really wants to try hard. But I think, at the end of this episode, I was like, but I mean, he's gonna be fired, right? Because he literally let someone grab his gun. And
Yeah,
I
this
feel
all
like,
happened because his gun wasn't secure.
yeah, I feel like that's like an automatic fireable offense. Like, I know this is Elsbeth and we're trying to look at things through like a positive lens, but that guy's gotta get fired now, right? Gotta.
I have another like budget win for you. It's like a bad
Yeah.
thing for
Yeah.
Officer Somerville, but
It was crazy to me how, like, by the end of it, when Somerville kind of jumps in to quote unquote save the day, he like grabs his gun. He's like so happy to get his gun back. He's like, yeah, I got my gun back. It's like stretching my arm. It's like, I don't, that was like the wrong tone for me. I was like,
yeah,
you should be glad. You should just be thankful that you're,
read the room in 2025,
yeah,
Officer Somerville. Like,
yeah.
read the room.
Yeah, so that was wild for me. I liked Officer Somerville. He was fine. It wasn't anything crazy. Um, and when we're, what did you think of the beginning clues, right? Because we get Elsbeth at the scene.
Mm,
They're
yes.
looking at the crime scene. We see Elsbeth picks up a hair.
Hmm.
She's like, oh, interesting. Looks like nylon. And then she sees a gem on the ground, and
Hmm.
which I don't know what that's supposed to, I mean, that will come into play like a little later when she's at the toy store with Nolan. I didn't think it was that, like, we've seen many more leaps of logic from Elsbeth,
Yeah,
before. This was okay, I thought.
I think this episode very much harkened back to lawyer Elsbeth as opposed to consent decree slash detective slash consultant slash whatever you are, you help the police Elsbeth, because she used those skills to get information out of someone. She used those skills to de-escalate a situation. It wasn't so much about like tying two things together. It was more about, how do I get out of this? And with everyone alive, how do I make this a win? Like, she had to go into the situation thinking it's a win as opposed to a whodunit. And I think this is the first time, at least in the series, that we've seen, besides the one when she was like on a jury, but this is where she'd had to like use those lawyer skills to really kind of get out of a bind here. And like, she was disconnected from the police department. She couldn't get that information. She was just like the information smuggler, basically.
Yeah.
Like, she was like trying to get the information from one place to another. So yeah, I don't think we had our usual like whoa moment. We didn't like, and we didn't need like the Elsbeth explanation of everything at the end, because we had seen it all happen, mainly because of how they set this up so that she would be in the middle of it and try to get out of it.
Yeah. What did you think about the visit to the toy store? Because I mean, listen, I guess this is supposed to be FAO Schwartz, I'm imagining, right? Like
Yes,
a
I mean,
budget.
it has to be. I mean, I
Yeah.
know, I mean, we're millennials. I feel like we got this. I would be really interested if anyone else got this. But
Yeah.
FAO Schwartz was a big deal when, at least when I was a kid, and also mainly because of the movie Big, and it's referenced
Mhm.
here a couple of times when Elsbeth is looking for the big piano on the floor that plays music. The toy store looked like just like a regular toy store. Like, it had a lot of things. It did.
It had,
It had a lot of random things. Um,
it had a mom and pop store feel,
kind
but
of,
I
yeah,
think it
but
was supposed to be like a franchise because they asked for a flagship, which to me means
yeah,
there's many of them.
and they had a
Um,
very weird phone.
Yeah, the very very interesting one. I liked all the employees dressing up as different things. I thought that was fun. And I think if you want to really get the most out of Carrie Preston as Elsbeth, being kooky Elsbeth, as Carolina said, you put her in a toy store where she can
Yeah.
get distracted by so many things. I thought the puppet bit was so fun. If you want to get me as Jason Reed, if you want to get to me as a viewer, you get to me through my like
Muppet
childhood.
puppets. Muppet
Muppet
puppets.
Puppets, just fun stuff, and the way Elsbeth was interacting with all the stuff, and she put the puppet on her hand, is like talking with the puppet and using the puppet to signal Somerville later. I thought that was all so much fun, and I think Elsbeth thrives when she can be in a situation, either when she's in a situation where she can act as silly as she wants because she's around silly things, or the inverse where she's
Yes.
the only silly person in the room and everyone plays off of her, which kind
Like,
of was where we were in the van, right? Like
yes.
she is the bright silly thing in a sea of cops
Literally.
that are all dressed in black. So I think that's how you use Elsbeth at her height, is to use her in those situations. I thought this episode did that really really well.
Yeah, I liked how there was a point when Nolan asks, like, I'll exchange a hostage, but like send in the cop. They're like, we'll send him in. And they're like, no, her, the plainclothes cop. And she's like, these are my plainclothes.
Yeah, so good. And I liked her. Everybody was just like she's not a cop. Like they told
Yeah.
bro, she's not a cop. She's not a cop. So I thought that was really good and really funny. And just the way that Elsbeth and Somerville stumble upon Nolan, Elsbeth being Elsbeth and just talking to everyone in her vicinity.
Mhm.
She didn't even clock Nolan until like she saw the doll with the hair that matches the hair they found. They see the gem missing out of Nolan's ring. So it's
And
like,
that's enough. Like,
oh,
that's
that's
enough
enough.
for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I like to think of it as like, I don't know if anyone else watched you are definitely probably too old for this, but you
oh,
probably
why,
are
thank
aware.
you.
Sorry. I'm too old for it, so you're too old for it, but I was aware of
What?
it. It was
Of what?
around. That's So Raven. Uh
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I do have the advantage of having a sister who's 8 years younger than me. So
that's
I
right.
was
That's
aware
right.
of the
Yes.
of the of the world.
I
Yes.
think of it as like when Raven has like a vision of the future. Like I feel like that's the Ellsworth thing. Where she's like, oh my god, I found the guy. She connects everything. She connects all the dots. So she finds him. She's motions over to Somerville with the puppet. Like it's this guy.
Do you think that this also was like a commentary? This could just be me reading too much into it with my 2025 brain. I
You
don't know. I know.
know.
I was like, I don't know if that's possible. But like, this was a true instance of where a non cop de escalated a situation and helped people move forward. You know what I mean? Like, this was literally like we had Captain Tully saying, let's shoot the guy, let's shoot the guy, let's shoot the guy. And then we had Wagner and Elsbeth saying, there's got to be another way out of this. There's another way around this. Like, let's work. And so I enjoyed seeing that go side by side as well throughout this episode, because I don't know, again, if they were trying to make this argument, but I walked away with that. And
Well, I
so,
mean, as we said last episode, the Kings and via extension of the Kings of the Elsbeth writing staff and the Elsbeth showrunners, I think they all have the same type of mentality that they do kind of comment on social issues, but they don't. They'll find clever ways to like not lecture you. They'll show it through storytelling.
in this show particularly, in the
Yeah,
good fight, it's a little bit more
it's
overt. In
more
the
of it. Yeah.
good wife, it's kind of in between the good
Mhm.
fight and Elspeth. There's
Yeah,
some.
I mean, listen, they know who their audience is with
Yes.
Elsbeth, so I think they
Yes.
are
They're
they're trying to
playing.
do it subtly.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that is definitely true. Like to show not only there are that there are we've seen corrupt cops on the show, we've seen just bungling cops, we've seen just cops not overall not good at their job. That's what Elsbeth is here for. To
Yeah.
that was the whole conceit of this show, was to bring Elsbeth in as a consent decree lawyer, which weirdly got name checked again as a consent decree lawyer. Wagner says that at some point. It's like, oh, I thought we were
What?
like done with that. Like I thought she was just a consultant now. So they got to get their facts straight here. But yeah, I mean that was the whole point of bringing Elsbeth in, was to be a consent decree lawyer, even though her being a consent decree lawyer was a cover for something else. That was what she was brought in for the Department of Justice to be. So there is that kind of commentary of like, we gotta police the police in a way. That's why she's here. So I do think there is that kind of subtle social commentary that the Kings and the people that work for the Kings are slipping into the story, which depending on where you are, depending on who you are, your perspective, you might really like, you might not like, you might not even realize it's happening until I just said it to you, and you might not like it now that I pointed it out. But anyway, either way, it's something interesting that the Kings and their people like to do. Somerville just shows just kind of how rookie he is by kind of like calling for backup as Elsbeth is trying to like subtly tell
and it's like right behind, right? Like you go to the front of the store and you make that call. You don't just stand at the right behind the two people so that Nolan could hear. And Nolan, of course, overhears and then turns around and is like, "Oh, you have a gun?
That is not holstered. That is not properly properly secured." Takes it and holds up the store. He did tell he just told Elsbeth and Somerville just to leave, get out. Like, I'm not even taking your hostage, just leave. Which I guess through the commercial break they left because like like we come back and they're in the cop van. I liked Wagner's arrival on the scene of like it was weirdly like slow motion. I was like, why are they showing Wagner in this serious like light? Is he upset because Elsbeth has been involved in some sort of issue?
No, I think like when I first saw it, I didn't get it, but now knowing the history between him and Captain Tully, I think it's like, okay,
he knows he's about to deal with.
Who am I gonna be? Who am I gonna show up as? You know what I mean? Like, what do I gotta do? And also, he's probably concerned because he knows that Captain Tully's MO is basically like set up the shot and shoot the guy. Like Elsbeth could get in the crossfires here. Like, so I think looking back at it, it's a lot clearer. But at the time, I was like, is this like his moment? Is he going to be calling the shots? Like, what is going on? But afterwards, it's a little bit more clear to me, at least.
Also, I think it's a moment to like say Wagner's out of his office when this is serious.
Yes.
So Wagner's at the scene because lately we've only seen Wagner in his office. It's like,
he was eating the sushi.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even going back to last season, there wasn't much of Wagner outside of the office. So it's as serious as Wagner's here on the scene.
Yes.
I also, I love it because we find out Nolan's background. He just got released from prison for insider trading. And Elsbeth goes, "Oh, I was at that prison and we did a musical." Or was that a dream? Which it was a dream. It was actually a dream. It didn't happen on the show. It was a dream. So fun way to like call back to that. I thought it was cool.
Okay, well, speaking of callbacks, Jason, I think we should just talk about it now. This episode had quite the callback for us too, and anyone who listens to the Good Wife and the Good Fight coverage to be coming in a couple of years. But through all of this, like Nolan wants Elsbeth to be his lawyer because of how he like showed her he was going to set up the defense, and he actually like loves Elsbeth throughout all of this thing. Like looks to her for information, like where can I go where I'm not extradited, what can I do, like listening, talking about his daughter and everything. And we hear the first mention we hear is, "I cannot be your lawyer, but I will get you the best lawyer I know. She works in DC." I was like, wait, what? Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, Nolan's like, you'll like get me that lawyer, right? And she's like, "Oh yeah, Diane. Yeah, I'll call her." And I was like, oh my god, which is really interesting given if the episode that we cover this week for The Good Wife, because there's mention of DC and New York offices in that episode. So I was just like, this is a great time to be a Good Wife fan.
My memory was failing me because I was like, where do we leave all our characters at the end of Good Wife, Good Fight? So I was like, is she talking about Alicia or is she talking about Diane? And then she, reiterates at the end, she's talking about Diane. I was like, oh, Diane. Like, we got a Carrie mention in the very early days of season 1, and that never paid off into a Carrie appearance. So this could be just hey, a little tidbit thrown to the Good Wife watchers way, to be like, hey, we mentioned your girl Diane, or could
Okay,
this? Yeah.
based on the evidence of one episode of television.
Uh-huh.
So before the season, we were told about Stephen Colbert and Amy Sedaris, but we were not told about Andy Richter,
Right,
right?
right.
Okay, we do know about Marissa Gold, but we
Yes.
do not. So I'm just saying, we know about Marissa Gold. I don't know if Diane Lockhart is going to show up. I think it will most likely be in like some sort of phone call voice, like if she still had her video wall type of situation. But
Maybe.
like,
Right.
I don't know. But if that happens, I will be elated.
I would freak the F out if Diane shows up here because, and listen, you got to think Christina Baranski and the Kings, they have a good relationship. They've been
I'm
working
sure
together
they're
for
on like
a
speed
long
dial or
time.
something.
Yeah, I don't think Christina Baranski has any qualms of showing up for the Kings if need be. Unlike some other people of the maybe the titular good wife, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that would be so wild. Even if it's just like a minute where Elsbeth comes to Nolan's hearing and Diane is there for support.
Well, I don't like I think just given the structure of the show, it's very rare. We'll get callbacks, but we won't get like long-term scenes with
Right.
other people.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it Elspeth is just out there. If this is how it's to go, where she's like more involved with um with the criminals at this time. Like I wonder if she's just gonna like say, you know who you should call? Diane. You know who you should call? Diane. And then Diane's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Why am I getting so many calls coming from people
what?
that you're referring me to? Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would love if like at the beginning of an episode, right? It could be a 5-minute scene, whatever.
Oh,
El-
I mean, she deserves it for
yeah,
sure.
I feel like Elsbeth and Nolan by the end of this have some sort of like bond. This isn't like a normal Elsbeth criminal where, by the end
That's
of
true.
it, the person hates Elsbeth and Elsbeth knows this is a murder. I think Elsbeth feels for Nolan. So I would just love if like it could be like 6 episodes from now. If at the beginning of an episode we see Elsbeth in court and she's there for moral support for Nolan, and we see Diane and Diane just like gives us an update on her life and like and other people on
Oh,
from the show's lives.
yes.
I would freak. It's what we've been wanting for ever since Elsbeth started. So I would love something like that. We're all listen. I don't want to be too greedy. We are getting a Marissa Gold cameo, which I
Mhm.
think from what I'm seeing might even be next episode.
Oh my god.
So
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
buckle up, people. But yeah, I don't want to be too greedy. So I would love a Diane appearance, even if it is like you said, like a phone call type of thing. We just see a shot of her like wherever she is with whoever she is. Um, would love to see that. Just to put that out there. But yeah, great. I love a good reference cameo, even a name drop, which is what this was.
Yes. It was so good. So good. I was like, yes, you could do it.
Yeah. I really loved inside once Elspeth gets inside of the whole situation, and because Elspeth is keen to like get in. She's like, put me in, coach. I'm going
Yeah,
in.
like she does not wait for permission. She
Nope.
she does it. She brings all of her bags. She's ready to go. She's like, "Oh, you asked me? I'm there."
Yeah, no one's like, drop the bags. What's in the bags? And I was just like, well, on Wednesdays I try to bring. They're like, just drop them. Just let them go. And all of them just left them on the sidewalk the whole
The
episode.
whole time.
Yeah. I love the Raggedy Ann being so upset that Nola just like, I need to get this lady, because this lady was like streaming live this hostage situation from TikTok, and when she wasn't doing that, she was sobbing about
It
the
was so
situation.
funny.
And Noel's like, I need to get this lady up out of here because she is a pain in my butt. I do wonder why he asked for Elsbeth specifically. Because I mean, I guess in the 2 seconds they spent together, she made an impression on him, I
Well,
guess.
yeah, I mean, like if the man's been in prison and no one's really talked to him or treated him well or like he hasn't talked to his daughter, what Elspeth did, I think it shows just a how much people can be starved for connection and attention, because all she did was like, "Oh, are you buying this for your daughter?" Like just have some sort of interest in what a person was doing, not say, oh my God, you're taking too long, or, like other things that may come up in a retail situation. She showed genuine interest and kept the conversation going. And I'm sure Nolan was like, oh my God, someone's talking to me. That's whoa, that's amazing. I'm gonna see if I can continue talking to this person who seems interested in me as a human without it being interested in me as a prisoner or a criminal or anything. He didn't have to explain his life away.
Yeah, it's just basically like, at least he's nice. Get her in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when she gets in there, like she's come up with plans immediately. Nolan's making demands because he's seen every single heist or like hostage taker movie you can see, and he's just going, yeah, I want a jet, I want this and that. and I like how they were calling it, the hostages were like calling it out. They're like, this feels like Inside Man, or this feels like
Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard. So I thought that was very fun. Nolan making his demands, like he wants a portable heater for every hostage. Like, okay.
I also loved how, because that's always a point, at least in the movies, like, we got to get food. Like, first of all, these people have only been a hostage from what we have seen for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, if this conversation goes, but the conversation comes up, we got to get food. And Elsbeth is like, we don't need the cops to bring us food. We can eat Easy Bake Oven food while they're all like tied together. In a line, but she makes it happen. I was good thinking on her feet.
And Elsbeth, who's like, has her mouth taped shut, has a hand available, is trying to talk through the tape, and then like the other hostages eventually just like put their hands over and take the tape off themselves. Like Elsbeth just could have done. She had a hand available, but Elsbeth being Elsbeth didn't think of it or wanted to follow the rules of her being like her mouth taped. Like, he taped my mouth, so I'm not gonna take it off myself. I just loved that moment for her as well, and the plan to get to the first kind of rescue plan, as Wagner tells her as she's like getting ready to go in. We want to send people in through the vents, okay? But we got to get Nolan away from the vents to get our people inside. And once Elsbeth gets inside, it's like, there are like 5 vents. Which vent are you talking about? And of course, it's the one above Nolan. And for what we find out later, the one right above the big piano. And once the guy, why is that guy moving so slow down the road? I was like,
and also like how the way that man came out of the ceiling. It was like the string was already hanging and he was already on a pole. I'm like, how deep is this vent where he could be like standing? I was like, usually, according to, my expertise, which is only watching Mission Impossible that one time that I did that, but like you're crawled in this little thing and then you kind of like fall out. And then, like you have to catch yourself. We could have had one of those, but this was like the slowest.
Well, I guess it paid off because the slow pan down reveals the piano is under the vent. When he like steps on the piano, it plays a song, gets Nolan's attention. He ends up blowing the head off of a stuffed bear while trying to shoot at the cop. I was like, damn.
Meanwhile, like it triggers Pop Goes the Weasel. Elsbeth has told Nolan, I need to go to the bathroom. They're waiting in the bathroom area and she's doing her best to like distract him, like, oh, maybe the music's coming out of there. I bet you if you open it, you could like turn off the music, because anyone who's worked in retail knows exactly how annoying that music is. But then she's like starts dancing. Pop Goes the Weasel.
As if she could drown out the giant piano that's being played. Yeah, that was fun. So I mean, this kind of like exacerbates the situation, right? Because now Nolan is like, they're trying to get inside. I thought we were going to be like, negotiating, but you're trying to sneak in here. So this is when things really ratchet up. And there were so many fun little bits in this episode. The moment with Nolan trying to communicate with the toy bullhorn, I was dead. Like that was like he's sounding like a little toy doll. He ends up sounding like Goofy communicating with the cops. So freaking funny.
And also because one of the things that Elsbeth does inside is she notices that there's conveniently a nanny cam sitting at the perfect place for a shot, and like has the doll doctor fake that she is sick, and they use the fakest puke you could ever think of. But Nolan is like, yeah, okay, let's get this person medical attention. So the doctor goes out and she's got like the web address and the number for the nanny cam in there.
I mean, this is a premium nanny cam dog. This thing had like
it was
1080p
like Teddy
HD.
Ruxpin. It was like
Yeah, it was
and nanny cam all at the same time because Wagner actually uses it to talk, and he also tries to throw his voice before he does.
bruh. He's like, Elsbeth. And the way they use the doll, like, because one of those dolls where as the person speaks, the mouth moves, which is like so good. So for this like hearing Wagner's voice come out of this little doll, that will get me every time. Anytime a show does something dumb like that, gets me. I think Good Wife did something similar to this. I think.
Yeah, they had Andrew, the investigator with the kids.
That's right. Yes.
He would use his kids' toys for his voicemail message. But yeah, even when Elsbeth like heard the first time Wagner tried to talk about, and then like heard his voice for real, she was like, where's that? Oh, it's you. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, this freaking nanny cam has 4K HD. It's also got great microphone because Elsbeth and Nolan are talking. We hear them like 20 feet away. Like, this is a good ass nanny cam.
And I gotta say, this is an episode that could have had a lot of product placement, and I'm sure it would have been a lot of hard work for the legal team and everything, and it probably would have helped the budget of the show. But they didn't do any of it. They stuck to the story, and they were original with like changing the names of things, and I was just thinking while we were talking about the nanny cam, is like, why wasn't there a commercial for this nanny cam in this show? Because we don't know what kind it was, but. Yeah, it was really funny.
I want to talk about Teddy.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
It seems as if Teddy is kind of the new Kaya in a way.
Kinda.
It's the personal, kind of way into Elsbeth's world, which honestly, I don't love. Like, I'm like, Teddy's cool, but I don't think there's a way to really bring Teddy into every single case.
Yeah, this was a bit much because like there's this whole thing going on, this whole hostage situation, and he just shows up on the street.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Wagner, I'm here. And he's like, yeah, cool. Okay, you could come in. And then he drops the information about Tully's past and then is like, my mom's awesome.
It's just a little too like far-fetched to believe that this would actually that this is a thing that would happen. And he's inserting himself. He gets himself into the police van. It's like, okay.
He says it a couple of times, Jason. I don't know if you caught it, but he will not share his location, but Elsbeth shares it with him. So I think they're coming up with all of these random, like really low stakes ways to get him in here, because that's how he says he found out about this whole situation and where she was anyway. And so I just hope I miss Kaya.
Yes, I think everyone misses Kaya. I've seen the feelings on the interweb about Kaya, missing Kaya not being here. I think that is a sentiment that a lot of people share, that I definitely share. And I listen, love Teddy. I'm glad we got to meet Elsbeth's son. I just don't need him in every episode. It's like finding ways to insert him into the narrative. I think you had a perfect way to have someone bonded to Elsbeth and Kaya, where she also was a part of the police force, so she was naturally in these situations. So it felt a little off base for me. I was like, I hope they don't try and force Teddy into every episode to give the stakes of like, this is a personal connection for Elsbeth.
Yeah, if he's going to be in an episode, I want it to be legit. Like, I want it to be for his new job. I want it to be that like some sort of thing, not just like, I saw your location and we're here, something that has to do with his story and his storyline, or like his boyfriend told him to go pick up a bagel and I just happened to be at the, you know what I mean? Like something that ties back. That's not just like, basically, I was walking down the street and I saw my mom and she's here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It felt a little shoved in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was, I was like, I don't love that, but okay. It's through these moments as well. We kind of learn more about Nolan, and we learn about his struggle with leaving his daughter, She was 11 when he went in. She was 9 when he went in. Now she's 14. So he's trying to reconnect with her.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason that he was getting the doll, is to reconnect with his daughter. I love when they got the daughter on the phone, because of course Elsbeth, through her her magic of the nanny cam, gets him to reveal his daughter's name.
Yes.
And you gotta love a good caption. One search for Nolan's daughter later.
One search for Bella later.
Yeah, we have Bella in the police van, where I love this because it just kind of shows like where Nolan's at. He got her this doll because this is the doll she wanted when she was 11 years old or something. And he's like, hey, I did all this to get you this doll. And Bella's like, bruh, I'm 14 now, not 9 or 11 anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, and at first, of course, she's being coached by Tully to say, like, yeah. Like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, Dad, I love it. You could bring it outside for me. That would be so great. And Wagner's just like, no, just be yourself. And she's like, yeah, Dad, I wanted it, but not anymore. I'm different now. And it kind of gets Nolan to think, okay, yeah, time has passed. Even though he says to her at the end of this conversation, like, or in the middle of this conversation, I'm your father. I know when you're lying. I don't know if he really does. You know what I mean? He's been like out of touch for that long. So I'm sure that kind of, when he closes the conversation by saying, bye, Bella, be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he's not planning on seeing Bella no more.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Everything kind of comes to a head because Tully has set up a sniper across the street. Like, oh, like we're really escalating now.
Yeah, well, and it's really interesting because the way that that's presented, like the Wagner comes in, he does his comes on the scene, does his deep breath, walks around, he walks by the sniper guy, and he's like, oh, okay, like we're here, I guess, does a little head nod. And then that was his plan all along. Like Tully's plan all along was to set up a shot, get the shot. We could do this, take him out. And he still couldn't do it because he ended up being, outsmarted by Elsbeth, which I thought was great. Her solution here to Wagner tells her through the nanny cam, like, don't go outside with Nolan because they're going to shoot him. And he's like, well, what if he can't get a shot? Like, maybe we could help everybody win.
And also, I thought it was interesting how Elsbeth before they leave, I think she's trying to. Her first plan is to make the cops see that Nolan isn't like some notorious bad guy, because I think Tully kind of logic reaches at some point and is like, oh, he must have been using the dolls to transport drugs. This guy's
at the beginning.
He's a hardcore felon or whatever. He's a bad guy. And Elsbeth uses the nanny cam to kind of show people like, hey, like she gets him kind of tell the story, like what happened. You're going to pay $6,000 for this doll because you love your family. You just did this for your daughter. This and that. And she says, hey, this is what I used to do for a living. I had to go and find a bigger villain to blame things on.
Right.
Yeah, and this that's what I used to do. And you can tell in that moment, she's just like, yeah, I used to be kind of shitty. I used to be kind of bad. I used to get people out of things by finding a bigger villain. It just so happens in this instance, Nolan's not that big of a villain. And so she kind of presents this as if she's in court and says, hey, this isn't your fault. You got ripped off. Which I'm also like, I mean, he did kill the guy though. Like he did do that.
Yes. But then in regards to the hostage situation, she's like, you didn't mean for this to happen. It was a police officer that had their gun not secured. And also we're in this position because Captain Tully and his budget, he wanted to use his big machine. All of those things are like she's basically in that instance also telling the police, like, you are liable here. And if any, if anyone gets evidence for the case, they have the strategy already written out for them by Elsbeth.
Like, this is not going to be a good look for you if this goes bad. Like, this man is just a dad trying to reach out to his daughter. So it's really kind of more of like you don't want to kill this father that's just trying to get a doll for his daughter, do you? Which doesn't really reach Tully. It doesn't really like do anything to sway Tully
No.
because he still wants to take out Nolan via sniper.
And like then the police chief calls and he's like, "Oh my, like Wagner's undermining me and blah 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 blah." And we learn that the chief sides with Tully and does it
Wow.
kind of kicks Wagner and tells him to like stand down and get out of Tully's way and all of this stuff. So I think that's setting up. Hopefully, that's setting up some more Wagner character development in terms of like how he operates within his whole force. Is that what they call the whole thing? It's a force, not a division, like a like
I
group
so.
of people known as the police.
Do you think we'll see Tully again? It feels like they were kind of setting him up to be like kind of a big bad for Wagner.
Yeah, because he said at the end of the episode, he's like, "We just have some old issues that may have become new issues."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Tully played by Campbell Scott, by the way. Some of you may have recognized him from House of Cards. I do kind of remember him. He's just kind of everywhere. Like if you need a shitty older white guy, that's your man. Call that guy.
He did well. He he fills his typecast well.
Yeah, so he wasn't a nobody, so he might definitely pop up again. So Elsbeth comes up with this great idea to. I think you can see this in a lot of different television shows. You probably could have written this yourself if you were thinking of it, because hey, let's get the big idea. He can't shoot Nolan if we all look like Nolan. If you can't tell us all apart, so they all dress up. I thought
I'm Bo Jackson. I'm Bo Jackson. Remember that commercial? I was like, I'm Bo Jackson.
I almost thought they were all going to dress up in like some big like teddy bear costumes and all come out. Like I thought that would have been fun, but they all dress up as what do they dress up as? Like
so they use these like oversized shirts, like that they had, and then put on like rain hats that had that looked like had ducks on them. Yeah. And then they brought a doll. They put the doll that he wanted to bring his daughter in the middle, and that is what ended up getting. And then there was like this whole scene at the end where the doll doctor, like put a sheet over her.
That was so cute. That was so cute. So yeah, they Elsbeth basically saves Nolan's life because, and it was very like tense because they're in this like huddle trying to hide everyone's identity so they can't figure out who to shoot. And Tully goes mad, goes crazy, and it's like he tries to find glasses, tries to find the person.
Oh yeah, like at first he's like, look for a beard, and he appeared, no, glasses, look for glasses, I see glasses, shoot, take your shot, and like the guy who's like sitting at the front of the camera is like, we can't just shoot this guy.
We can't use like, and I don't even know who, like I didn't see any glasses when they were like looking at the thing. I was like, what glasses are y'all saying just to have this shot? And I mean, I
like at the shot. No, he was just saying he just wanted. Yeah. He was trying to get it recorded that he saw it. We didn't see it.
And Marissa, I want to apologize on behalf of the show for them discriminating against glasses wearers. Like we don't want to just go indiscriminately shooting people with glasses. Okay, that's not right. My friend Marissa wears glasses. Okay. Not cool. Not cool.
Thank you.
But yeah, so thank you. So a shot rings out. Did you think anyone was actually gonna get like hit by this bullet or like?
No, I mean, if anything, I thought like maybe someone got grazed by it or something. But it was kind of funny that it was a direct hit on the doll, like
headshot on the doll.
Yeah, I was like,
and Somerville kind of comes and quote unquote saves the day by jumping, I guess pushing everyone down, jumping in front of the bullet.
Messes up the shot basically.
Yeah, he kind of comes out of this looking like a hero-ish guy, but I still was just like, I mean, bro, this is kind of your fault in the first place. You're about to get fired. I don't know why you're so happy right now. Like, it was weird. It was weird. Yeah. So I mean, that was. Did we miss anything? Anything else you wanted to hit on?
No, I think we talked about it top to bottom, inside and out, and I think it's again just from a production standpoint going to be interesting. Like, do we think we'll have more of these episodes where it's all kind of like this was a really easy shoot, not like it's easy to do, but it's like one location. They didn't have to go to other locations. They were in one place. They did the whole thing in the same place, and so they were able to save money there. And also, like, we didn't have a detective, we didn't have all this stuff. So I'm keeping an eye on that, just because I'm that kind of person. But I think it'll be interesting to see, especially if the show gets renewed for a 4th season, how they kind of come out of this as a production as a whole, of like, okay, you can be on, but your budget's cut. Okay, well, let's make this the best we can. And I really like to see the creativity and ingenuity that happens when people have like constraints on their resources. And I think that this is a great example of that.
Yeah, job well done, Elsbeth. Job well done, the Kings. Good episode. Can't wait to talk episode 3 next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this like 2 episodes in 1 week bit. I don't think it's gonna be happening again anytime soon, but I'm happy we got these 2 episodes out. I'm glad, I feel like we kind of had some stumbles in episode 1, but I think we kind of picked things up in episode 2. I almost wish this episode was the premiere. I think it would have been.
They couldn't do that though. They had to explain. They had to explain where she was, and she had they had to bring everybody back and all that stuff. So like this is definitely like the truth. Like I feel like the first episode was like our context for the season episode, and now we can like have actual episodes going forward.
That makes sense. Yeah. So Marissa, do you want to tell the good folks where they can find you and all that you're up to?
Good folks. Why don't we just call them good folks?
Ooh,
listeners.
Good folks. Hey, good folks.
Hey, good folks. It's only taken us over 100 episodes to get here, good folks. But we are here now. You can always find me here on the Good Pod talking to Elsbeth or the Good Wife with Jason. Episodes for Elsbeth will usually post on Saturdays. Good Wife comes out on Mondays. Other than that, I'm over on Whirlwind Podcast talking Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. That is the chaos that it sounds that it is. Or I'm over on USS Sisterhood talking to my sister about Star Trek The Next Generation. Neither of us have watched it, so we are making our way through season 2. You can find links to all of those things at itsmemarissag.com.
Can I make a suggestion for the USS Sisterhood?
Please.
Can you sample the Sister theme song from that show? Sister.
I'm pretty sure.
Love talking about Star Trek and phasers.
We won't get in trouble.
Yeah, love talking about Star Trek and red shirts. Sister. Space exploration and stream. Or something like that. I don't know.
I'm going to cut that from here and it's going in. Yeah.
Yes, please make that your theme song. That would be really fun. Okay. For me, you like Marissa mentioned, all the good pot stuff you got going on. I'm also in the middle of talking about love and mess in reality TV. I'm currently talking about Love is Blind season 9 over on the Rob S Podcast Network on the Love at First Sight feed. If you just look up Love at First Sight on your podcast catcher, you'll find it. Love is Blind season 9, interesting season. Things are happening. We're talking about it. Come check out me, Asia Welch, and Mary Kukowski talking about that. Me and Asia Welch from that podcast are doing another podcast about the show Married at First Sight. We have been talking about Married at First Sight for years. We have recently started a Patreon talking about some older seasons. We're talking about season 11, which is one of the best seasons of the show. We're wrapping that up pretty soon. And coming up in just a few short days, season 19 of Married at First Sight will premiere on its new home, Peacock. And we will be talking about each drop of that season on the Rob S Podcast Love First Sight feed, and also over on Patreon. We'll kind of deep dive a little more. We're talking to some past mass participants about the show as well. So come check out all that stuff over on all those podcasts I mentioned. Check it out. Check Marissa out. All that stuff. Until next time, stay good.